having a good day. Yeah, got some stuff going on we're going to talk about here, guys. So let's just kind of get into it. Say hi to everybody here real quick. Jess, first one in here. Good to see you. What's up, Dudette? Mark, Michelle, Seaglass, Julie, Arizona. What's up? Karen, Randy, Sunshine, Andy, Penny, Robin, Crystal. I can't. That's here. Lachlan. Okay, there you go. Knowledge 2020. Good to see you. Steve O'Kent. Jill, what's up? Robert, Terry, Julie. Good to see you, Julie. JR, what's happening? Kim Possible, Mary, Lucette, Della, good to see you. Christy, good to see you. Gina, what's up? Rita, Jennifer, Tommy, Smith, Jen, Jupiter, what's up? Okay, guys. Yeah, so obviously, guys, we got hey, you rock, what's up? We got some stuff going on here, and we're just going to kind of jump into this because there is, you know, I was going to wait till a little bit later to do this tonight, but with things going on, I figured why not just do it now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, we've had a big earthquake, and we've also had an interplanetary magnetic shockwave. I've talked about that before. So I'm gonna go over what that actually is and why I think space weather could have had a pretty decent impact on why we're getting these quakes. So we'll talk about the Schumann here first, but then we'll go straight to that. So, yeah, and in my title I put the quake was in China. Technically, it's in Mongolia. Really, technically, if you look at it, it's actually kind of on the border of Russia and Mongolia. So but most of us consider China and Mongolia kind of the same place. I know that it's not technically, but for all intents and purposes, they're kind of one thing over there. So we'll just leave it at that. I know that they fight and they have wars and stuff, but they haven't in quite some time. So anyway, I just wanted to clarify that before I got started, because after I put my thumbnail and stuff up there, I realized I'd put China and not Mongolia on that. And so I just want to make that correction real quick. So anyway, the Schumann resonance. You guys remember my video from this morning, if you guys were able to catch that. I was talking about the 20 hertz right here. That line is still there, but notice how it's fading off. Okay? Thanks, John. I appreciate that, bud. Hey, Jerry, what's up? Mighty Mark, what's happening? Andy, Dolores, Rick. But you guys see this, right? I mean, it's starting to fade back off. So that pretty much solidifies the fact that something was going on. You know, I was kind of kicking back and forth whether or not it was some sort of a tool flaw or something like that, but it wasn't. So whatever caused this 20 hertz level is actually starting to taper off now. That's significant to me because something was causing that. That isn't normally there. So for it to just kind of, it faded in and then faded back out. So, and you know, we had some questions about this morning, and I don't think this is causing anything. I actually think the opposite. I think something's happening that's causing this. Okay? So that's what I would say to that. You know, it's just kind of one of those things. But anyway, hey Dan, what's up, bud? Jen, Greta, good to see you guys. I don't want to mispronounce your name. I'll just call you. Okay, there you go, Darcy. STFU, Darcy. Oh wow. Hey Christine, good to see you. Another Julie in the house. Malarkey, no malarkey. Hey, Diane, Daisy. You're from, aren't you, Daisy, aren't you from England? Pretty sure you are, if I remember right. Vintage, what's up? CW, good to see you guys. But anyway, guys, yeah, so that's what's happening with this. And, yeah. These two big spikes, obviously, if you guys were ringing in your ears and things like that, that definitely could have been the cause of it. I always tell people this: rule out your physical issues before you go straight to this and say this is what's causing your problems. You really need to make sure that you do that because, you know, yes, this thing definitely does affect our health and our mental health especially. But we cannot forget the fact that sometimes our bodies get sick, guys. I mean, you got to rule that out first. You really do. So don't not go to the doctor. Don't go not try to take care of things that way. You know, and that was my fear of even talking about this here on this channel because of that. I didn't want somebody to take this and just only look at this because that's our tendency, right? You know, we find something that could be causing our issues and we just go straight to that and we stay there. I don't want people doing that. I would like really, you know, that's why I try to tell people, please make sure you roll out physical issues first. So anyway, so let me go on into this. Now, I think I'm going to do this just a little bit different than what I usually do in my live streams, guys. So I'm just going to go straight to this article first and explain to you guys an interplanetary magnetic shockwave, what that actually is. Okay, I've shown you guys this in the past, but they were able to see this for the first time. They actually caught it. This was back in 2019, about, well, a little over a year ago, about a year and a half. You guys, you know, I'll leave the link to this. You guys should go check this out. It's pretty cool. But what that is, guys, and why this is important to understand, this is the visualization that the model gave them. They were able to catch it right here because of this. And what this is this front edge right here. You see just the initial dark spot here? That's solar wind, okay? It's plasma. It's moving at a certain speed. Well, what happens is there's solar wind that comes in behind it that's moving faster than what's in front of it. Well, it catches up to it. The point in which it catches up to it, it causes it what they call an interplanetary magnetic shockwave. And it's not these two things colliding together. We have to understand that these things have, you know, the atoms and stuff, the charged particles, they have their own little electromagnetic field. So what happens is the electromagnetic field of all these particles start interacting with each other. They don't actually collide. Now, you know, that's true for a lot of stuff that we consider that collides. It really doesn't a lot of the time. It takes quite a bit of energy to make two particles collide. That's why it's such a hard thing to do. Why, you know, they build big tunnels and stuff here on our planet. You know, high-speed particle colliders. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get these things to collide. But they do happen, okay? But the majority of what you see here are the electromagnetic fields interacting with each other, causing a shock wave. Watch this little piece of red right here. Right there. You see that? It only happens once it hits. Once they kind of get close to each other. So what that is that's a little bit more of a bam, you know? So it just gives you a little bit more of a shot. And if it happens at the right time, it can definitely affect what's going on here magnetically on our planet. So that's kind of what I think is happening here, okay? And like I said, I've talked about this before, but this gives me a really good chance to show you guys what I mean. Because I think this is important to understand, because I think this happens a lot more than what we say it does, or what we actually recognize. So let me, what I'll do here to help you guys understand even more, I will, let's go here to the CME tracker. Okay, now remember back when this fired off, I think everybody remembers me saying that it wouldn't take much for this math to be off on this model, just a little bit, and it would drag this CME to hit us, right? So that's kind of what's happening. This right here is what's hitting the Earth right now. That was no coronal hole stream, nothing like that. Okay, and I'll show you guys why in a minute. But as this is, you can see how that one's moving just a little bit faster than the one in the front. You see that? So what's happening is at the time that these things were impacting our planet, grazing by our planet, this one in the back caught up to the one in the front. And when it did, it caused that interplanetary shockwave. And that's why we're seeing the electromagnetic, the geomagnetic disturbances that we're seeing. Okay? So what am I talking about there? Well, we'll go here and I'll show you. This. None of this was expected. Not even one bar of this. Okay? So let me go up here and show you that right here. This right here is telling you that none of that was expected. This was their prediction. Do you see a 4 on there anywhere? Nope. And that's where this thing got to. It got to a 4. So I do think this had a little bit of something to do with the quakes that's happening right now. Number one, this was not expected, like I said. Number two, this was a pretty good jolt. It jolted us pretty decent. Because we go from 0 to a 4 in, just in a matter of 3 or 4 hours. So it definitely was something that happened pretty abruptly. Now, that ain't unheard of. Let me just say that right off the bat. But that definitely is, a pretty intense uptick. All right? And that is not from no solar wind stream. Okay? I just want to make that perfectly clear. Robin, maybe. I don't know at what time. Probably not. She's asking, Robin says, could this have caused the buoy event this morning? I think the buoy started going off before this happened. Okay? I don't think the timing was right for that. So, I went back and I kind of looked at that myself, and I think this happened after the buoy started going off. So, oh, you're good, Brenda. Good to see you. Hey, Ricky, what's up? Oh, you're welcome. That's just, yeah. I mean, it's definitely a great thought. I mean, I kind of went the same way. Excuse me. Sorry. But anyway, right here, X-ray flux. You see how we have a little bump here? Well, we've got an active area on the sun now. Okay, it's not an official sunspot yet. It could be within the next day or so. Now, some people were wondering, why did we go from such an active time on the sun with a bunch of sunspots to nothing for like almost 9 or 10 days now? Well, the reason is, guys, we're still early on in the sun cycle. So we're going to see that fluctuation from time to time. Now, if this happened next year, where we went from real active to nothing for this amount of time, I'd be saying something different. Okay? So, that's, excuse me. So that's kind of what I'm saying. But yeah, so I do think that at some level, I ain't saying that this caused what's going on. I'm just saying it added to it. Okay? That's kind of what I say every time. There's no way I could say that this causes earthquakes. What I can say is, it's part of what causes some of the earthquakes that we see. And the timing of this is right on what we would expect to see for this to contribute to that stuff going on. Now, there's a lot of other stuff going on that causes those things, okay? And again, I won't even go into that because I'm not, that is not my area. I don't understand it to the level that some people do. Well, like Ricky. Ricky's in here. So I do think that, it all has something to do with each other, especially when the stuff's not expected. Now, when we look at the ACE data, this is why I think it did have at least a little bit of effect on what happened, is because we were just really, really slow conditions. If you guys remember, I even said that like 3 or 4 times. I mean, just really, really just like mundane, ambient conditions. We were just kind of doing our own thing, right? And then all of a sudden, bam. It's like almost out of nowhere. All right, we just took that big jump, like we jumped off the edge. Now remember, we got to look at the range. Understand what we're looking at here. This data is telling us, remember, what's normal for density? 4. 4 is what we consider normal. So 4 is right here. This thing, ACE data, was picking up readings in the 90s, 80s and 90s. That's a decent jump, guys. I'm telling you. And then we went from having 3 to 4 all the way up to here. Now again, you know, is that 100% correct? You know, I don't know. But what I'm saying is it never even really started to come back down. Now notice what happens here. Sorry. The density started falling back off, but then the solar wind speed starts picking up now. And that's really what we would expect to see. The lower the density, usually the faster the speed. But what happened this morning, if you look at this, everything started moving up at the same time. So when that happens, we have to look at like CMEs and things like that. And nobody, and I mean nobody, was saying that, you know, they were expecting to see any of this. Now, I kind of hinted to it when I was talking about this at the beginning. But that's, you know, I still was trusting the models. I mean, there's really nothing else we can do. The only thing that I said that was different than what other people were saying was the fact that I said that if this model's math is off just a little bit, it could bring it into where it's going to hit us or give us a glancing blow. Okay, and I do think that's exactly what happened. I think their math on the model was off just a little bit. So that's, you know, that's kind of where I'm at with that. So now that was the NASA model, okay? That's what this was. If we go back over here, this is the NOAA model. This is the NOAA space weather prediction model. You can see that this is what they said was giving us this increase, but we're right here in time. About right here. We're still experiencing stuff right now. Our magnetosphere is still getting hit. So I'm not so sure that this is even correct. But I found it interesting that now this model has seen something on the sun happen today, because this is 5 days out, and they're saying that this is another little uptick here. This model's seen something. I went and looked and I couldn't see much. Maybe, Mr. Goody, it could be. We did have a, you know, but the corona hole was small. That's the whole thing. He says, you know, the corona hole there could be why that the speed has kept going up, and it definitely could contribute to that. But that corona hole really was not that big, and you know, so but that ain't saying that if it was pointed right at us and we connected to it like head on, it most definitely could do that. So yeah, I mean, I could go with you on that one. But I also want to point out the BZ, guys. Now remember the range over here. This bottom number is usually like -6. They had to take it to -20 because that's what this graph was picking up. Remember, if this is in the negative, that means conditions are favorable for the angle of it to hit us in such a way that it allows it to come in more. And I do think that's what's happening. This is one of the main reasons why we're seeing the bigger hit, because the angle's right. So the temperature, everything moved. I mean, everything did. Now, this right here, like I said before, guys, I look at this model a little different than what most people do. It's cool to look at it, to like look for Aurora and all that, and that's all cool. But Aurora photographers are going to know where to be at anyway. All right? They're going to know what's going on with this. For me, this is more of a tool to show people that, hey, this proves we're having geomagnetic activity, because we don't get Aurora unless we do. It's charged particles that are interacting with oxygen molecules in our atmosphere. That's what Aurora is. Here. So what I like to do is I take it to the last capture, because this is the most recent. So you can tell how the Aurora is stretching down further than what it usually does. And again, that's because we're getting space weather. So as you can tell, you know, that right there was where right before it happened. and then all of a sudden we start seeing this increase, and look at where the sun's facing. It's facing right here over here on the United States. So we're taking the brunt of this over here. And we've seen that on the geoelectric field model, which is right here. This is space weather's effect on our electrical grid. Unnatural electrical components like transformers, wires, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, you can definitely see that this is an uptick. And earlier today, it was even a little bit stronger than this. So, yeah, so there's that. Let me show you where the earthquake was real quick first. Now, we've seen earthquakes over here before, but I do, you know, when we get big ones way outside of these lines, the fault lines and the plate boundaries and all that, you know, it makes you wonder. I think there might have been some, I'm not sure if there's any volcanoes around there. I really haven't, like, dug into that. But again, you know, you can see it's right here on the border. This was almost in Russia. I guess if I go down through here, yeah. It says right here it was actually inside this lake. Oh, man. Wouldn't that be something big? Get some big, huge tsunami or something off of a lake? I ain't trying to laugh. It's just, that's just kind of crazy. But you can definitely see that that's way far away from the plate boundaries. So it's not really near anything like big time. And that's why it hasn't hurt anybody yet. Okay, the population of where that impacted, it was not very populated. That's why the pager button, when you hit it, this is what you get. They're not expecting anybody to pass away from this. It's not even doing any damage. Okay? So that tells you right there that it's not a highly populated area. So that's what I would say there. Is everybody, are you guys buffering again? Okay. Is it back? I am going to, I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and shut off some of that stuff I've already shown you guys. Hold on. Let's shut that off. Shut this one off. That should help some, guys. But yeah. Also, guys, we are getting, you know, globally right now, because of everything that's going on, servers are crammed. So there's not going to be much I can do about buffering. You know, I'll do the best I can on my end, but other than that, I can't, you know, there's not much I can do, really. Right now it says I got good stream health, so hopefully that hangs out with us for a minute. But here's the sun's off to the left, and these are the the Magnetosphere tools, okay? This is going to show us how hard we're getting hit. This is speed. You can tell because the reds, that means it's faster. I mean, that's as simple as that. What I will say is I do think we're probably on the back end of this now. I don't think we're going to get much more of an increase in activity here. Okay? I think the brunt of it has already hit us and it's passing us now. So I don't think we're going to get into actual G-level storm level. But this was close. It almost got us there. But as you can tell, you know, we got some pressure around our planet. Notice how this is about halfway through our planet. That's telling me that the pressure is really hard on us, okay? You can even kind of see the breaking that we see. Now, there was a crack in the magnetic field. Okay? Notice how this is surrounding our planet. I mean, that's some pretty good pressure, guys. There was a crack in our magnetic field, and if you see this right here, they're talking kind of the same thing I'm talking about here. So, yeah. But here is that those two filaments that blew off. This is from GOES 16. I don't usually show you guys this satellite because the definition on it really sucks most of the time. But you can see this right here, that this was those two CMEs I showed you. This is what it looked like from GOES 16. And you can definitely see the plasma shooting off. I mean, that really puts it in perspective there. So I mean, that's just crazy looking. That is a good capture by this satellite. We don't usually get good ones like that from this satellite. So, yeah. I mean, awesome job this time. I mean, look at that. That's plasma, guys. Getting flung off the sun. But check out these Aurora. These Aurora are cool. I just thought they were awesome, man. So yeah, go over and check out spaceweather.com, guys. Show them some love. Now, notice here, guys, this is the sun. There are no sunspots. We've had 8 days in a row now. You know, and again, why? Because we're still early on in the sun cycle. We're in the second year of the new sun cycle. So, you know, we can't expect us to stay completely active all the time. We've had 8 fireballs. They added another near-Earth object today. Right here where it says 1. You see that? That missed us by 1 lunar distance, the distance between us and the moon. It wasn't very big, but it was something that they missed. And then you got, you know, I already talked about this one, the 0.3. But these other ones, okay, you know, like I said, guys, unless that says 0.1 or 0.0 sometimes, I don't usually pay much attention because, and the reason why, we are talking about some pretty good distances here. Alright, a third of the way to the moon is actually pretty far. Now I know when we're talking about the vastness of space, it's really not. That's why they call them NEOs, near Earth objects. Look at this one, you know, 19.5 lunar distances. That's, if you go to the moon 19 and a half times, that's how far away this one was. It doesn't seem too near to me, but that's just, you know, my own thinking. Again, when we're talking about space, obviously that's a pretty close distance. I get it, but still. Now, the noctilucent clouds, they're still hanging around, and they're going to. Okay, what this is this is water vapor on our poles that gets high in the atmosphere, and it freezes around meteor dust. Hey, Candace, what's up? Brenda, good to see you. But yeah, so that's what this is. And it happens in the summertime in each hemisphere. So here in about 6 months, these will be all on the North Pole. Now, you guys remember me talking about this because it was, they were about 2 weeks late. And that points to a little bit of a temperature discrepancy in our climate. It had changed. That means the temperature wasn't correct on what we typically see. So we didn't have as much water vapor to cause these things. Now, if you guys look at these with your own eyes, like actually if you were standing there and able to see it, these would look blue and metallic and kind of wavy. So that's what they actually look like. I thought that was pretty cool. Okay. This is really what I want to show you guys because this will give us a better understanding of how space weather can affect, you know, us directly, especially with like earthquakes and things. You're going to notice our bow shock compress on the one side. So watch what happens. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up a little closer. Now I know a lot of people don't use these models too much anymore because of the older ones, but they're still reliable. They are still worth something. You know, we used these for years. Why all of a sudden aren't they any good now? Just because we got this? No. The other ones are still relevant. Okay, a model is only as good as the data that's put into it. Just so you know. And this model and this model are basically getting the same. Now there's other aspects there too, but this here, while we used this one for 15 years with no problem. Now all of a sudden, because we have this new one, people out there saying that this is no longer relevant. Well, this one might be a little bit better and more up to date, but that doesn't make this irrelevant. Just saying. So as we keep moving here, let me move the chat over here. Sorry. So we're going to take hits, right? The sun's off to the right on this one. So we took a hit right there. We're just getting hit over and over and over again. We're compressed. Now watch what happens right here. You got compressed pretty hard. See how we've pushed back? So let me take this back to the beginning of this part, because this will help people see it. Alright, so watch the top part of this. Watch it bend in. See that? It's out like that, and we're getting hit, and it bends in. We'll see what happens. That's because we're pushing back. This is where all the pressure is at that moment. So we keep going, and notice all these other ones happening all over the place here. And that got compressed in really good. And we push back. And it's a cycle. Now that right there, I want people to understand something here. The sun is off to the right. Stuff should be moving from right to left here. Okay? So I'm going to go forward in time, and you're going to see stuff go from left to right. Watch. Watch right up in here. See that? It even bent our bow shock back out. That's inside our magnetosphere. That's inside our protection. So you have to understand that that is not something that was like a rebound effect or anything like that. That definitely was generated by something. Okay? And it probably, who knows where that came from. And I understand that, there's a lot of different people talking about a lot of different theories and a lot of different data points and what people actually think is going on. But what I'm doing here is I'm just showing you the observation and letting you guys decide what you guys believe. And that's why I stopped there, because I don't want to steer people way of thinking. I just want to show you the observation and let you guys research it for yourself, and you go from there. So we're getting compressed, you see right there. Again, notice that everything's on this side. I find that odd. I really do. See how we got compressed again? Why is everything getting compressed on this one side? Let me tell you why. Because that is most likely the side that CME was barely missing us on. So it was grazing us on that side. Look at that. I mean, how much more contorted can you get? I mean, wow. Alright, and that's where we're at right now. So, look how close this pressure is to us. For those that don't know, this dotted line is where our satellites are. They hang out there. Okay? So, let's go look at the other ones. These are the lines of magnetism. And again, you're just going to see it getting hit. Alright? I mean, it's like we're beating a dead horse here, but So yeah, I mean, there you go. Now, here is the Australian model. The sun's off to the left on this one. Let's see what this thing shows us. Now remember, this is the one that's so simple it's easy to understand. You got the density here, speed here, and the BZ here. It is really seriously that simple to look at. Watch it jumping around here. I mean, it's going to be moving. See how we're getting compressed? Notice how the top is bending and the bottom isn't. That's exactly what the other model was doing. So yeah, so something's going on there, and I think it was from that filament release that just barely grazed us. I think that's what happened. You know, because everybody was saying, no, we're not going to get hit by those. It's not going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. You know, all that kind of mess. Well, I think they might want to rethink that now. I'm not going to waste much time here on seeds because nothing's going on. Nothing's really blowing off the sun right now. But what I will show you is this. Let's go ahead and X out of that. What did I do with it? Well, okay. Okay, this will work. This one will work. You see this? That's a pretty decent sized hole, guys. And it looks like it might be trying to stretch up too. That's the southern coronal hole. It's always there. It just varies in size. And we have what's called the parallax effect. So when you're looking at a sphere, things that are on the side will look smaller on the sides. But if you take a circle that's like this big here, by the time it gets right in front of us, it may be this big. That it was always the same size. It's just an optical illusion. It's called the parallax effect. So stuff that's over here, it looks small, might not necessarily be small. So yeah, we're gonna, all this stuff right here in the front, we're connecting to these holes right now. It's gonna take it 3, 4, 5 days for it to get here, depending on how fast it's moving. So this definitely could, and like we were talking about earlier, I think Mr. Goody was talking about it. We had some coronal holes back, 3 or 4 days ago also. So yeah. This southern coronal hole, I don't think we've connected to it yet. But just remember, it does take 3 to 5 days for that stuff to get here. So that's, if we want to look and see what's impacting us now, we have to go back 3 to 5 days and look at the sun then. So that's kind of what I'm saying there. So, but regardless, we could see an uptick. Now, something else here too. I'll show you why I got you here. Move the chat here a little bit. This is a big filament. You guys see this? It's stretching out there pretty decent. It wouldn't take much for this filament to go ahead and kick on out into space. And the sun's rotating to the right here, guys, so this is moving to be right in front of us. If this filament hangs on and gets right in front of us, and then it may snap off and come our direction. You never know. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. Also, remember, we passed over that magnetic boundary too, the solar sector boundary. That just means that the polarity in that area of space was the opposite of where we just came from. So when we cross that line, sometimes we'll get a jolt on our magnetic field. Okay? So, yeah. And I do think we already passed that line, so I don't think we're going to be seeing that again for another few months. But I think we already passed that over, so. Let's see here. Let's back that up a little bit. So, yeah, so here's the earthquakes. And like I said, guys, this is one of the main things that we look at that I can take you to and show you direct effects from space weather. Okay, this affects everybody, right? It's pretty easy to see when we look at it like this. Notice how we got stuff happening here. Okay, we got stuff that was a 5.5. This is a 5.2, I think. Yeah, this one over here was a 5.4. And then again, we get these ones here in Mongolia stacking up on each other right now. There's a big one there. I mean, all these are just, 4 or 5. Obviously, these are aftershocks. I mean, we get that. They're all related. But at the same time, they're 5.0s on their own. That's a 6.7. I mean, that is a decent-sized quake. Now, it's saying it was 10 kilometers deep. That is a default this thing falls back to. So they'll come out and tell us what it actually is once they get all that figured out. But, yeah. So, anyway, let's turn on all magnitudes and see what we got. And again, seeing this stuff here in the middle of the country. That was in Tennessee there. This one's in Georgia. That was in Tennessee also. Okay. Close to Georgia. So yeah, I do think that that's probably what's going on, guys. You guys got any questions for me? Fire some questions at me if you guys got them real quick. I'm going to take a drink of my pop real quick. Hey, Third Line, how you doing? Thanks for stopping in. Any news on New Madrid? I haven't really seen anything. How's the human residence? I can show it to you real quick if you guys want to see it again. Everything kind of quieted down on that. Alright, cool, Justin. Are you asking me if I know Gina? Gina who? Any quakes? Three Gorge Dam? I don't know. I don't know about that. Oh, no, that's fine, Carolyn. I mean, that's yeah, for sure. That's right, Marcel. You can drink this Kool-Aid, that's for sure. Thoughts on flight SJ-182 and recent CME burst? I'm not familiar with that. We have a plane crash or something? What is a buoy event? That's a good question, Linda. Very, very good question. A buoy event. You have to get back with me on that. Are you talking about Gina? What's her name? I think her last name's Hill or something. She's got a YouTube channel. Is that who you're talking about, Greeny? Let me know. She talks about UFOs and stuff. But anyway, on the buoy question, that's a great question, Linda. The buoys, there's buoys out there all over the planet, okay? They're hanging around. And what they're there for, they're there to see if we've got tsunami stuff going on. And what happens is, if there's an event, they'll go into what they call event mode. And what that means is that it's detecting a discrepancy in the wave height, either low or high. And what that does is it allows us to have some sort of indication if there's a tsunami coming or if there's something going on. So, we could, I could take you to, you know what, the next stream, in my next video, I'll bring up the buoys. It's not that hard to find. But still, you can go look at them. They stay lit up, and you can look at them and see which ones are in event mode. It's kind of cool to watch. Sometimes you can really see some stuff there. So, oh, okay, Green. Yeah, that's who you're talking about. Okay. I'll just I'm not gonna go there. Okay. You can read into that whatever you want. But I'm not gonna. Yeah. I'll just show you, like I say, I show you my observations and stuff, and that's what I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, so with the buoy thing, we definitely do see those things, spout off. I mean, that's something that we look at. It's a good marker. Linda, that was a good question. I have to say, that really was. You guys have been asking some really, on point questions. Let's see, what you saying there, Julie? Okay, yeah, I could buy that. Yep. Hey, Rebel, what's up? Hey, Keith, what's going on? Shout out to Queen Brat. That's right. That is right. Hope you're feeling okay, man. Oh, it's her birthday? Happy birthday to you. You live in a zoo. You smell like a monkey. Hope you don't look like one, too. Just kidding. Shout out to Queen Brat, guys. Everybody in the chat, type happy birthday in there for her. Let her see that. Blow up that chat room. Put happy birthday in there. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Sunspot and coronal hole. That's right. Happy birthday, Queen Brat. Love coming for you. Just watch that chat. It's coming. Telling you. They're doing it now. That's all for you. I love it. Love it. You guys are awesome. There you go. Make that chat just fly. That's right. That's all right, Whitetail. You're good. You're unsubbed? Really? Wow. That happens sometimes, guys. Just so you know. That's right, Keith. You better record that for her. She ain't here to see that. She's probably watching with you. Hopefully your back's doing okay, bud. But happy birthday, Queen Brat. Hey, that's the kind of stuff, let me say this. I'm going to say this real quick. With everything going on around us, sometimes we just need to step back and we need to look at that little stuff like somebody's birthday. That can, even that little stuff that we think is kind of insignificant to things, just like when you got little bad stuff happening over and over and over again and it builds up and then you explode, guess what? That works for good stuff too. If you take little bits of good stuff over and over and over and over again, that usually equates to somebody being really, really happy. So in times like what we're looking around right now, just look around you. Find the little good stuff that's still there. Grab a hold of that, hold it tight to you, and then find the next little good stuff, bring it to you, keep doing that, and you can stack it on top of each other, then all of a sudden you got yourself a real good time. You see what I'm saying? When's my birthday? Next month. Yep, in February. So, yeah, and, you know, Julie says it right there. Little stuff matters. A smile can make a day. Happy birthday. Right on point, Julie. I'm telling you. And what you know, I show you guys the quote that I used to quote when I was younger, and I teach my kids this. Happiness is not given or guaranteed. All right? You have to go choose happiness. You have to go get it. It isn't something that is, oh, you're buffering? Let me shut some of this off. Hopefully that helps. But, yeah. I mean, happiness you have to go get, guys. Nowhere has anybody ever promised us to be happy. Go through and look at any religion that you ever want to talk about. Go through and look at, you know, what's I say? He's having surgery on his back on Thursday. Who is? Is that Keith? Is that you, Brat? Sorry. I think it is, isn't it? I think Defrustrated, that's you, right, Queen Brat? Is he having surgery? Okay. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Happy birthday, girl. You go for it. You guys have a great one, seriously. We give you one of those virtual hugs, that's for sure. See what I'm saying, guys? I mean, guys, I'm telling you. Even with stuff that's going on right now. And it does. It looks really bad. I just have to... It does. Okay? But look what's going on in here. Just our little corner of the world over here. We're able to have fun. Make yourself smile. Do a couple things first thing in the morning to try to change that. Now, I'm not saying you're going to have great days every day. Okay? I'm not saying that at all. Yeah, the buffering, guys, again, I can't do much about that. I don't have anything else I can shut off, really. I guess I could just do this. It's kind of funny. My stream health says excellent. That's crazy. What do you want to answer to, Andy? What you got? Sorry. Let me go back up here and see if I can't find your question. Sorry. I didn't see it, bud. Let me go up here. Can a coronal hole eat a sunspot? No, probably not. I wouldn't think that, you know, because what's happening there? Hey, Russell, what's up? A sunspot, if you guys understand, sunspot can happen inside a coronal hole. That's most definitely can happen. All right, let me explain this. Okay, that's a good question, Andy. Really is. You guys are on it today. So just let me do this real quick. I'm going to use this model for something a little different. Okay, here's the sun, right? You got a north and south pole. All right, the sun cycle is a polarity flip on the sun. Okay, so every 11 years it has a pole flip. You know how we talk about our magnetic pole flip and what it can actually happen when that happens here on Earth, how catastrophic that could be. The same thing happens on the sun every 11 years. Why does it happen every 11 years? Let me explain. Okay, you got a north and south pole, positive, negative, right? Those lines of magnetism, the particles that travel on those lines go directly from north to south or south to north, positive and negative, okay? So they're vertical. The sun rotates, okay? You know how we rotate, right? And it causes our day and night, all that mess, right? Well, the sun rotates, but guess what? It rotates faster in the equatorial region than what it does on the poles. Because it's not made out of the stuff that we are. It's not a big rock. So it can rotate at different speeds on different parts of it. So you got these vertical lines of magnetism. In the center, the equator of the sun is rotating faster. So what's that do? It takes those vertical lines and it starts to pull them like this. Okay? And then eventually they're horizontal. So when we see a sunspot, it's that magnetic connection line that gets a kink in it and it pops through the surface of the sun. That's what you see. That's a sunspot. And something that proves that's what's actually going on is that what early on in the sun cycle, like right now, you won't see any sunspots near the equator. They're going to be closer to the poles. Because as the sun cycle gets into getting closer and closer into maximum, they'll migrate towards the middle because they're all still getting pulled. It's getting wound up. And then eventually, what happens? It gets wound up so much, what's it do? It flips. The polarity flips. There's the end of your sun cycle. And then that pattern just keeps repeating itself. So everything starts out vertical, but because of the rotation of the sun is different at the equator than what it is at the poles, that's why everything eventually becomes horizontal, and that's why we see sunspots in the places that we do. That's a very basic understanding, okay? And people might not have been able to understand some of that. I get it. I'll go more into detail at a later time, but that's really kind of a really basic understanding of what a sunspot is. So, given that, yes, it can pop out in a coronal hole if it needs to. Yabba dabba. I don't know, buddy. That's a good question. Yeah. All right, Andy, cool. I'm glad you understand that, man. That was a really good question. It really was. You guys are really asking some good questions lately. You really are. I appreciate that. I really do. Hopefully I can help people understand. Hey, Wolfie, what's up? Matchmaking on... Uh-oh. We got a love connection in here? Who we got going on here? Who's hooking up? Just kidding. But yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. So, yeah. Okay, guys. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end it. But let me say this one more time, okay? Hey, body and soul, good to see you. Just a couple of laughs. Yep, for sure. Yep. Which is worse on our planet, a dark hole or a magnetic planet? Well, you know, I don't want to say one's worse or better. The way we would have to describe that would be, you know, inhabitable or uninhabitable to our species. You know, we can't go out there and live on the sun. You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right, man. I seen you, Russell. If you guys need help with that, just give me a call. Trying to set all that up. The best thing to do, Russell, there, just to give you a little idea, is to use Zoom. Whoever's hosting the live stream, have them send you a Zoom link, and it will be easy that way. You can just bring them in on Zoom through your OBS. It's real easy. That'd be the best thing, in my opinion. Or you can use Skype. Skype works too, but I like Zoom better when it comes to that. But yeah, guys. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Oh. I am going to continue to do the short videos in the morning. I know some people like that. I know they don't have a whole lot of time sometimes. You know, when I do that, it kind of shoots. I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot a little bit. I just want everybody to understand that. And what I mean by that is, if you know I don't get as many views on some of the videos, but that's not what I do things for. I want you guys to understand that too. So I'm trying to accommodate everybody. When I change the format of what I do here, I understand why people wanted some of that other stuff, because that's why they were here to begin with. I get it. I do like doing the live streams better. I'm able to connect with you guys like I am now, and that helps. It helps me. But I understand that some people don't have the time to sit through an hour and a half live stream. So I'm trying to do some of that. I'm going to do a daily report like I have been the past couple days. So I'm going to continue to do that. I think people actually like that. So hopefully people will understand that's why I'm doing it. So, all right, guys. I am going to go ahead and get off here. Well, cool, Russell. Cool. Guys, support each other in here, guys. You know, support Russell. He's got a channel. Christine's got a channel. Ricky's got a channel. Who else got a channel up in here? Wolfie. I'm not sure if Wolfie does or not. But yeah, any chance we can get to support each other, please do so. Just by going and watching them, sub to them. Here is my PayPal if you guys want to help me out. There it is. And yeah, you want to recap real quick? Yeah, I can give that to you just real quick here before I get off here. Well, actually, I can't. I had to X out of everything, but I can give it to you verbal. Oh, goodness. I just shut my chat off. Daggone it. Hold on. Sorry. Give me a second here, guys. Come on, hurry up. Alright, I think I got you guys back. But yeah, I can give you a little verbal one here. Yeah, we had the CMEs that were said to have missed us. I think they kind of graced us. And they got the second one that was fired off the sun actually caught up to the first one about the same time it was supposed to be here at our planet. So what happened was it caused an interplanetary magnetic shockwave. Okay, and I explained what that was. I've shown you guys that before. Hopefully you understand what that is. But anyway, it happened in the timing that it actually caused us to. Well, let's do this real quick. I'll bring this up real quick, and I'll at least be able to show you this. So we got geomagnetic activity here, and that's why this was unexpected. This was not supposed to be happening. And like I said, the reason why is because of that. But you can see everything jumped up. The BZ went into making it real susceptible for us to be taking the right angle there. Everything just made it like we were having some sort of geomagnetic storm. And that's what it was. It never got into storm level, but it was close. Now, I don't know what's going to happen this next one. I do think we're probably going to start ticking back down. But I could be wrong. So, that's pretty much really all it, other than the earthquake. There was a 6.7 earthquake, probably a little bigger than that, over in Mongolia. And, it didn't hurt anybody, didn't do any damage. It was way out in the middle of nowhere, over a lake. And so it really didn't do a whole lot of damage or anything. but that's a significant quake. So, alright guys, I am going to go ahead and get off air. Sorry you missed that a little bit, Menacing. Wish I could give you a better one. I was buffering real bad. So, I had to shut everything, off and was pulling it up a little bit at a time. So, but anyway guys, I will see you guys in the morning. If anything else happens real bad or big time, I'll come back on, but probably not unless something happens. Remember, go get your happiness. Don't wait for it to come to you. Go get it. Don't waste time. It ain't worth it, okay? This is not worth it to wait on that to come to you. So, God bless. Yahusha saves, and you can drink this cool.